Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome here to X-Bomb Shorts on Sports. Yeah, I'm Andrew Valentin. I'm still here once again, giving you all the best from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday. And with me is, yes, no Drew, no nothing. As always, I'm up here by myself, but that's okay, folks. I still have the wonderful, the amazing, the luscious bearded man himself, Mr. TJ Knacker. TJ, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. It should be an exciting day here in the short sports.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, we're just going to jump right into it. We got a lot of quick sports to get to. So here we go. Let's get this going. So we're starting this one off with, as I'm sure a lot of people have heard, yes, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, how we love Aaron Rodgers. Lately, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the back-to-back MVP Super Bowl, and apparently, according to Aaron Rodgers, I guess what's really been helping him, from what I can gather, let me check this. Yes, of course. What would help anybody win MVPs back-to-back and have great seasons? Ayahuasca is the drug of choice by Aaron Rodgers, apparently, to help make you a winning quarterback. Yes, the Packers' star quarterback obviously has gone on record. He went on to the Aubrey Marcus podcast, if you don't know, and basically gave an account of what happened after he traveled to Peru in 2020, and apparently went on a retreat where, during this retreat, you are drinking what is known as ayahuasca, which is a hallucinogen, I believe, that is used mainly in liquids, like a tea or something like that. And you drink it. From what I understand, you sometimes have involuntary vomiting or something like that, and then you're supposed to have like visions. You're supposed to feel real sensations. I don't know. I've never tried it, so I'll take Aaron's word for it, I guess. I've never really been into that kind of stuff, but I mean, listen. Obviously, Aaron had a lot to say for his own part. I mean, he went on Peter King and obviously talked about how he was finding unconditional love for himself. He found the love of the game again. I'm paraphrasing all this stuff, obviously, but it's interesting, of course, because this is not something new we've heard about. Obviously, the world of the NFL, as we know, is a changing landscape with players trying different things in order to supplement regular painkillers, right? Because we know those can be addictive. We've seen it in the past. We've seen the crisis, especially in across this country, with opiates and all kinds of stuff. And you have to be very cautious with them because they can certainly have a lot of adverse effects. But it is interesting to hear this kind of stuff. And he says it was basically a chance for him to clarify his mind. And obviously, when you take this into account and you're hearing that he's dating a woman by the name of Blue, or Blue of Earth, however she wants to go by. I've heard it's just Blue. And she's kind of into this, mythical not mythical, I should say, but, mystical arts and all kinds of stuff and bringing out your aura and whatever the case is. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful on that, but obviously for a lot of middle America and a lot of us who may not be into that, it's a strange area, right? Especially when you're a professional athlete. It's not exactly the area you would think a guy would go to. TJ, let me ask you though, upon hearing this with Aaron Rodgers and kind of hearing the explanation of what this was about and what it was for, I mean, personally for yourself, what's your take on Aaron Rodgers in this whole situation, using an apparent hallucinogen to, I guess, stabilize, calm the mind, spirit, whatever you want to say, but I guess find himself? I don't know. What are your takes on all of this?
Well, I'm very curious now because I like that it helped him, and I was kind of intrigued of how they could help other players. But then I thought about it. How did he pass a drug test? Honest to God, I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of having to have a drug test done.
Yeah.
But we had someone that got caught with peyote. Okay. Still it's all natural and all that, but
right.
They got caught and they got suspended. How do you go on a hallucinogen and be able to pass? Were you just not being checked? Was there Now we got to start doing an investigation. Like, did he maybe have someone that was maybe, you know, sharing their sample with him?
Yeah.
What's going on here? That's the first thing. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You got a hard stance, and you ruined some people's lives by giving them suspensions. And I mean, honestly, some deserved it if you keep violating it. But I mean, so now you have Aaron Rodgers on a hallucinogen, but now you're telling some other ones they can't smoke weed. I don't smoke it, but still, like it seems like a double standard.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm kind of weirded out by it, but I like. I mean, if that's what it takes you to get centered, that's okay. But I'm just so curious of how you got away with it for so long.
Well, actually, so there is an answer to that, believe it or not. So the NFL did actually come out and they did have a statement to say. This was from Brian McCarthy. He said this on Monday. He said that because it wouldn't have triggered a positive test or a on either the substance abuse or performance enhancing substance policies, which were agreed on by the collective bargaining agreement. Because of that, there is no repercussions then on this. So basically, because it doesn't pick up on the test, it's not a problem, which that might change now. Who knows, right? Like, and then that's the thing too. Like marijuana and obviously anything above that, like obviously marijuana, I guess now gets grouped in a different one, right? In a sense, it is kind of considered legalized. It is well, it is legalized now, but it's considered medicinal, and now it can help people a lot. Certainly with all kinds of stuff, especially with pain management. A lot of players have certainly supplemented it for pain pills and things like that. And I have no problem with that. Like you said, TJ, I have no problem with that myself. I myself, have had my own experiences in my own life. Um, that's I won't get into it, but obviously things have gone other ways for me. But nevertheless, you have this little area now where this gray area, right? Because anything that was like cocaine or anything past that, like heroin, like those all get lumped together. Those are obviously like the life ruiners for a lot of people. Marijuana, weed, it varies, right? It kind of depends, I think, a lot on the person, maybe not so much the drug itself, but I think that's up for debate no matter what. But now you have hallucinogens, and now you have to wonder, well, where does this kind of cross the line? Is this like, because you think like that includes what? Mushrooms, LSD, ecstasy, things like that. So you have to kind of wonder, like, is there a line for this? Is there, where exactly does this fit into the NFL's policy? Does this go alongside with marijuana as just like, I don't think it's really good. I don't know if it's good for you per se, but I know you can overdose from this stuff, but I don't know if it's necessarily a drug that people are taking with the intention of like build up, build up, build up, make me feel good. I don't really know all the basics behind it. I know that there are, I guess, some medicinal properties to hallucinogens. I just out of do you have any knowledge of any of that stuff on your end personally? Because I have no idea. I'm just wondering.
No, I mean I don't know. I mean I don't know much about it. So I'm the other question about it also is you are Aaron Rodgers and you were concerned about putting things in your body, but now you have an all natural thing that's man made. Like I don't see it being made. You're an athlete. Like I'm kind of like, so now what are we looking at? Are you like now you have something that's being made somewhere else, like by someone else,
Right.
and it's like it's all natural and we're whatever it's. But now it leads me back to that kind of the legalization of some of the stuff. And like, I mean, I had a friend that was doing some hard stuff, and they ended up getting their stuff cut with bleach and ended up screwing up their nose pretty bad. And you know what I'm talking about? Like
Right.
now I'm like, okay, you're Aaron Rodgers. You are now getting $50 million a year, and now I find out that you're just going off and on some to another country and going crazy, and then coming back. Oh, and that's the only way that I can play right. Really, really. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of more concerns. It's almost like when he was taking the his what was it the COVID treatment
Mm-hmm.
that was not it was being treated like it just seems like right in that same realm, and it just bothers me.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, listen, let me clarify this, like, first and foremost. Like, I am very glad that Aaron Rodgers has found a way to help with his mental health, right? That is very important. I think that I mean, we've been talking about this now for 2 years on this show. A lot of talk about mental health, right? How much that is very important, be it, whatever the case is. It's become more crucial, especially after what we've kind of gone through with everything from the pandemic to now, all of that stuff, right? It has been so crucial for us to take care of ourselves mentally as much as physically and emotionally and all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad Aaron Rodgers found a way to make that possible. I think that is very important that he did that. I think it's crucial that he did that because it's important. It's important that you be in a good headspace to do things. I mean, I'll be honest, I've doing this show, there's been a lot of times where I've not been in the best of places. This show absolutely is kind of like a therapy for myself. I am one who does believe that, seeing a psychiatrist or a therapist can absolutely help in major ways. I know that that's expensive and not everybody can do that. I don't know how much this probably costs, but I would say traveling to Peru to go to a retreat, to drink ayahuasca, to have a opportunity to feel a sensation of, clarity and love again and all that stuff that he was talking about. And it's not cheap. That's obviously not cheap. And I mean, listen, obviously, Peter King also talked to a Ali Fiducia, who is of the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies. So this is her field. And she was quoted as saying, people should pursue using ayahuasca with great care and do thorough research to find reputable retreat centers. Reputable retreat centers. Okay. Counseling and support during and after ayahuasca retreats are necessary to integrate the intense experiences that can emerge. I don't know much about this, but I do know that it's supposed to give you, it's heightening your emotions and your feelings times like 1,000. So you're feeling everything. There's people that experience, anger and sadness, I guess, all types of stuff. So I'm glad that this is something that he found that he's like, hey, this is going to help me. This may help other people too. Like, that's great. That's awesome. I'm so glad he found something that potentially works for him. But like you said, TJ, there is concern with this because what if people start to see this? I mean, listen, we've said on this show multiple times, these athletes should not be considered to be role models. They are people like everybody else. They are flawed. They make mistakes like everybody. It is important to note that though there will be people that listen to him and hear what he has to say and follow in that direction, right? And if they don't do it in the proper fashion, like she just said, Ali Fiducia said, and if they don't have the ability to do it like Aaron Rodgers did and be with people that obviously understand this, because this is something that is done mainly in like South America, which is where he traveled to for this to occur, it can be an issue. It can be a problem, right? You can, like you said, TJ, you don't know what it can be laced with. You don't know. People can overdose from this stuff if you take too much. It's happened before. People have had bad trips on these things before, and if it's not an overdose, it can also lead to you potentially doing harm to yourself or another. I mean, that may sound like a Ronald Reagan, President Bush type of thing. Like, if you take this drug, you'll start hurting the people you love the most physically as well as emotionally. And it's not the case. I don't know, but I'm sure it has had some adverse effects on some people before. So I would take caution with this as much as possible, like she said, and I would, if this helps him, fine. That's great. That you found a way to help yourself in your mental health and everything. That's fine. But I would just tell everybody to be cautious if you feel like this is a route you want to pursue. This is not easy stuff. From what I understand, this is some heavy kind of induced stuff, usage that's hard. That's hard to work with. So I would honestly just say right now, as far as it goes when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, hey, look, congratulations. I'm glad that you found something that's helping you, that certainly you feel has made you better. I don't really know if this is going to be something that should be, used by other players, essentially. I'm glad that it's something that works for him. I would just be very cautious about how it plays out from here on in. Obviously, he's not been slammed with any suspension. There's a lot of people saying that's hypocrisy and things like that. I agree. I kind of agree. I think that it should be something he does get slapped on the wrist for. I mean, you said it, TJ, too. Like, we talk about that COVID thing, right? He wasn't wearing a mask when he said he was immunized, and clearly he didn't get the shot, so that's kind of an issue. But at the same time, too, I mean, he should have been suspended for at least a good while, at least a couple of games, not just a fine. But whatever. I mean, that's the NFL policy for you. I guess that was at the time. But adding this on top of it, if this is what makes him feel good, okay, fine. I don't have too many problems with this, but I do have a problem with the preconceived notion that this is going to be the answer and like the answer to everybody's issues in life. Don't take that for what it is. Take it at face value. It helped him. That's great. And by the way, too, let me clarify this, because Colin Cowherd said, I think he needs to get married or something like that. If you didn't see The Herd, he went on The Herd and his a radio show and said, well, I think he needs to get married. I think he needs somebody to, keep him in check. And I think that's what he really meant. You don't have to get married. Like, yeah, Aaron's a single guy. He's had a lot of issues with relationships, I think. I think there's a lot of arrogance and conceitedness and passive aggressiveness going on with him. But he needs, I think, somebody at least by his side to kind of be his confidant, right? To kind of put him in check. I mean, come on. Like, TJ, you have that one guy that kind of like keeps you in check, right? That kind of is like, hey, I don't know if maybe you should do that, or, maybe we should think about that. I mean, you have that person in your life. Would you say that Aaron, I'm not saying this would be the case, but should Aaron not have somebody at least in his life that he's able to do that with?
Yeah, I mean, he needs someone there to be like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? We're going where? You want to do what? No. Hey. All right, before you decide to go to a foreign country, remember, you're supposed to be doing this. This could cause a problem. And yeah, I mean, he needs, a best friend. He needs, a wife who is not encouraged. I mean, I don't know what's her name? Is it Blue?
Blue, that's her name. Blue.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know if she's the best. I want to say like candle in the storm to kind of go to and be the best guide. I mean, if I was his agent, I would be the screaming, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, getting married, having the friend, yeah, he needs someone to be the basis to reality, because I think he's pushing it just a little too far right now in his mystical journey into wherever the heck he's going.
Yeah, I look, I don't know this woman, nothing against her. I have no knowledge of who she really is, other than I have seen her Instagram. I've seen what she kind of does and talks about on like a little podcast she does or something like that. It's interesting. It's stuff that obviously I don't have a full understanding on. Obviously, there are people that are very open to that kind of more, what's the right word? I guess mystical is the only word I can really, without lack of a better term, I guess mystical is kind of the word I'll go with for the time being. It's just, it's more of a ethereal plane, if you will. So I don't really know the right words to use on that, but I think she is probably a more easy flow going with it kind of woman, maybe than like obviously Olivia Munn, who he dated for like 5 years. She's very, hard nosed, and she's very kind of, tough, and she has a lot to, she's kind of not combative, but she certainly has a lot to say. So I listen, if this is what makes him happy, by all means, God bless him. If that's what he wants to do, drink all the ayahuasca you want till you feel better and feel more clarification about your life, if that's the case. Whatever makes him happy, I guess. As long as he plays well, this shouldn't be a problem, I would say. I mean, if he can pull off a third MVP, great. But they better win a Super Bowl if he wants this stuff to really count. I'm only going to say this just for the fun and what might actually be true. Do not be shocked if this dude buys a farm in like Peru and starts selling like Rodgers raid juice or something like that. Or I don't know. It'll be some kind of weird stuff. It'll be something he sells in a bottle with his face on it, I'm sure, with like crystals all around it. I don't know. It good for him though. Good for him. All right, let's move into our next topic. which I love this. So we've been talking about the Brooklyn Nets and the whole thing with KD and Kyrie Irving. He requested a trade back in June at the trade deadline. He wanted to get out of Brooklyn. He wanted out of this system, all of that stuff, and it was shocking when it hit. And we thought a deal was going to get done like that, and it was radio silence because the Brooklyn Nets made it impossible trade, even more impossible with like, what was it, like a star player and two role players and like 4 or 5 first-round picks as some asinine offer that had to be on the table for just Kevin Durant. Nothing else in return, just for him. A 34-year-old small forward on the edge of possibly ending his career soon. So Kevin Durant has pretty much come out and said in a meeting with Joe Tsai, the owner, basically doubling down on the ask for a trade out of Brooklyn in order, or the ultimatum is to fire general manager Sean Marks and head coach Steve Nash, which oh God, the cojones on this guy. Seriously, I thought Kyrie was the guy that would kind of do something like this. I was not expecting Kevin Durant to do this because, for those who don't know, Kevin Durant and Steve Nash have like a relationship. Like they actually have like a bond with each other from their time in Golden State. So it shocks me that he's like demanding that the coach get fired and that Sean Marks, the GM that brought him in, that said, we will do whatever it takes to make you happy. That guy is these are the guys you want to get rid of? Really? Like that is beyond my mind to think that he could actually make that kind of push, that he thinks he's of that caliber, right? Because in the NBA, listen, a lot of these players have power and people like it or don't like it, whatever the case might be. But there are, listen, player power no matter what. There are certain guys that certainly have a lot of power that I feel like could make this move, right? Throughout history, some of the best players could certainly do it, right? Michael Jordan could probably push the GM and coach out. I think LeBron could certainly do that as well. I think Steph Curry could definitely do it. There's guys in the NBA throughout history that you could say they have enough equity in their career with the players and front office and ownership and all that stuff that they could make a request like this and it would probably happen. KD doesn't really fit into that area, right? He fits into the area of like Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook, right? The guys who are kind of like, I'm in charge. And it's like, well, we can pretend like you're in charge, but I don't know if you're really going to be in charge. You're just kind of along for the ride in our part. You're just there. So I don't know. I mean, listen, in the Kyrie situation, obviously difficult too, because obviously he has his own thing, I think, going on with Steve Nash that's not really being talked about. He didn't mention him in the offseason exit interviews for the season as a guy that could come in and help rebuild the team or anything. So there seems to be a lot of tension and brokenness, if you will, in this locker room and this front office and everything. It's just a mess. And we've also heard, too, that from Joe Tsai, the owner, who came out with a tweet basically saying he backs Steve Nash and Sean Marks. He's backing the front office and the coaching staff, and they'll do whatever it takes for the Brooklyn Nets in order to make the right decision. So, TJ, I'm gonna ask you, man. This is just another layer on the crap cake that has been the Brooklyn Nets offseason thus far. And I say that in my own terms of saying it's a crap cake. But for you, I mean, what do you think about Kevin Durant making these demands of fire the front office and the head coach or trade me? I mean, what's your take on all of this?
So I think it's Durant just trying to kind of flex his muscle that, I can do this. I can make this demand. Yeah, you can make that demand, but in all reality, the Nets need to get back something really good for you, at least something serviceable.
Right.
So that's the one. So going after the GM, I'm kind of like, well, he's just trying to do the best by the Nets. Now, when it comes to Steve Nash, that's a different story because it's really, really easy when you have, like, when your buddies that you're working with all of a sudden becomes, like, the general manager, the shift manager. They're really cool with you.
Right.
Until they're the manager, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, so I know that I know when I can't find you that you're hiding in the freezer, drinking one of the sodas. Can you stop doing that? And whoa, wait, you're my buddy. You're my buddy. Yeah, but I'm your boss first. I'm telling you need to go do this and go do it right now. Well, whoa. Who do you think you are? I think I'm your boss. So all of a sudden now when he's saying, hey, KD, I know you, and I know that you want to shoot the ball and you don't want to pass it, or Kyrie, I know that you want to shoot first, or the two of you are going to, put a spot in the parquet, the floor, just dribbling around trying to, get past someone and not pass it. Well, that guy's going to call you out, especially if he's a friend and knows your game. So that's probably the problem with Steve Nash, is now Nash is calling him out going, these are the problems, these are what you need to fix. Well, I'm a Hall of Famer. Not yet. Not yet, and I'm your coach. So, I mean, that's the one. And then wanting to get traded, I mean, yeah, he wants to get out of Brooklyn. I mean, he wants to get everyone wants to get out of Brooklyn.
Right.
I mean, some players don't even want to play for Brooklyn. They're hurt with their back and some other issues that, oh, well, I'm not feeling good. I'm not in a good mental health space.
Yeah.
And that may also be a problem with his other teammate, the shooting guard, power forward, center, depending on 3-point specialist in his own mind. I think everyone wants to get out of there. So I don't blame him one bit to try and want to get out as soon as he can. So, yeah. Keep dreaming, KD.
First off, I thought it was really funny that you said flex his muscles, because what muscles? He's quite the scrawny man, if I do say so myself. Not that like I'm one to talk. I'm just saying like he's a pretty they say 245. I kind of doubt that. I don't know, but nevertheless, the fact that he thinks that he can kind of get his way because he's is he one of the top players in the league? Sure, he absolutely is. I still believe that. But he's 34 years old. He's getting hurt. He thinks the Nets think his value is one thing. His value is probably a whole nother at this point. They're saying a star player, role players, and 4 or 5 draft picks. He's probably worth at this point 2 intermediate players and like 2 first-round picks, because he's probably only got like 2 or 3 years of actually being a star-studded player in the league, and that's if he stays healthy. Like, he's got to play 60-plus games for that actually to happen, okay? And I at the same time, too, like, his relationship with Steve Nash, because they've known each other since their time at Golden State, Steve Nash also has a relationship with Sean Marks, for those who don't know. Like, at the end of Steve Nash's career, he was friends with Sean Marks back in Phoenix in, like, 06 and 07, I think it was. Like, they were close. They were tight. People forget that. These guys know each other. That's why Sean Marks hired Steve Nash. They have a relationship with each other themselves. And when you're talking front office and head coach relationship compared to player-head coach, one, I would say, supersedes over the other. Like you said, TJ, one's your boss. I mean, it's hard for you to say, if I could tell my boss he's fired, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, he quit. But I would love to have said that. But I don't have that kind of power. Unfortunately, none of us do. You can say that, but then I think we're all getting fired, right? Some maybe, I don't know. It depends on the job. But either way, it blows my mind to think that he has that kind of equity to play with these guys and say, look, I've only been here for like, 2-3 years now or whatever, but I totally have the ability to dictate how this team should be built and how this team should be, formulated. And no, you don't. You have nothing. You have nothing. You've done nothing for them. They've gone nowhere. They've made the playoffs twice, and that's with you being hurt about a third of the season, and Kyrie Irving sitting out because he had principles or whatever it was. I don't know, but they found a way. They found a way, and I'm sure they'll find a way without you. So if you're asking me, I mean, what's going to happen on this? I think he's going to get traded at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this season, because I think he just saw that the market kind of went, look, we want you, but we don't want you that much that we're giving up our entire future for what could be 2-3 years of maybe championship basketball. Maybe. I mean, we're talking 50-50 here, touch and go. He had an Achilles tendon. Like, it was a serious injury. I don't see where he thinks that that's going to be a play that he could easily make. Like, props, I guess. Props for thinking that you could try. I get it, because I'm sure we can say LeBron has probably pulled that flex when he was in Cleveland with the David Blatt situation and he got Tyronn Lue in. He pulled it again, I would say, in Los Angeles, maybe a little bit with Frank Vogel, getting Frank Vogel in there. That's LeBron James, though. He's done enough, I would say, in this league and been the face of the league long enough to say, yeah, he's got some pull, I think, with some of the owners and the front office people that would say, all right, you don't like this guy? Well, then we'll get rid of this guy. But KD's done nothing. Now, granted, yes, he won championships with Golden State. He was the best player on those teams. When he won those championships, absolutely. But it was always Steph Curry that was leading the team, and that's why he left and went to Brooklyn, and now he's dealing with this mess of a nightmare where one guy is, who knows where Kyrie is at in his mind space. I mean, everything to him, he thinks is two-dimensional, so I don't know where he's at mentally or where he is anymore, period. I'm not even going to say anything on Ben Simmons because if I do, we're going to be here for another hour, and I can't do that. I just can't burn that kind of energy right now. The man is, you know how he makes me feel, folks. If you don't by now, one day we'll have a compilation of me yelling about him on radio and TV. Yes, Bobby Bonilla agrees with me. He knows how I feel. Thank you, the man of Bobby Bonilla. Absolutely. Bobby Bonilla is, in fact, happy. He knows what's up. But yes, after everything we've heard now with Kevin Durant, they're certainly probably going to explore trades. I think this is going to be one where they may just make a trade just to get him out of here. All right? They may Antonio Brown him. They may just move him out just to move him out. Because at this point, I think they're getting tired of it. I think Desai is tired of it. I think the entire Brooklyn Nets organization and the fan bases are just like, we're kind of done. And don't be surprised if Brooklyn Nets fans potentially start moving upstream to Madison Square Garden. Because let's not act like the Barclay Center is anything that's like shaking the ground of New York. Come on. I mean, seriously, and whoever, I don't know where he goes at this point because I don't know where he wants to go. I think obviously he wants to go to a contender, but I don't know who's going to give it up for him, right? Phoenix or Miami or whatever. He wants to go to the two teams that look like they're at the top of the list for contending next year, but the Brooklyn Nets want back star players for it, and that's just not going to happen. You're not getting back Devin Booker for Kevin Durant. You're not getting back Tyler Hero plus 6 first-round picks or whatever for Kevin Durant. And not only that, but his contract is massive too. So $176 million over 4 years or something like that, right? It's something incredibly big. So I don't know, but KD, hey, have fun in Brooklyn. Have fun and good luck. Good luck. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work. I think we were right to say this wasn't going to work when he signed, but hey, you wanted to be the leader, right? You want to be the man. This is what happens when you're the man. So best of luck to him. Best of luck to Steve Nash. And now I got to wonder, what's this season going to be like? Like you just said, like if he sticks around, how awkward is that? How awkward is that little moment in the locker room or in the office or practice, whatever? Hey, I don't know. If I were Steve Nash, by the way, Steve Nash has 92 wins in his 2 seasons with the Nets. He's gone to the playoffs twice now with them. You gonna fire that, really? I wouldn't. I would love that. We just saw the Bulls go to the playoffs. I want to give Billy Donovan an extension, not Vucevic. And we'll get to that at some point. At some point, we will talk about that. But we'll see what happens with the Brooklyn Nets. It'll be very interesting. To say the very least. But that's going to do it for us here on the Shorts on Sports, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm Andrew Valentin. It's been fun talking with you. I got my boy TJ. TJ, as always, thank you so much, man, for joining me as well. Please let the people know where they can find you, listen to you, all that good stuff, amigo.
Well, you can find me here in the back for X-Bomb and for Blow the Whistle. And if you want to find me online, I'm TJ Knacker on Facebook. And on Instagram, I am Knack300.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure to go follow TJ on all of his Instagram, social media, everything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, give him some love, give him some likes. You guys want to follow me? I'm at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter, but as always, I'm at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram for the most part. So make sure to go follow me there. Guys, if you want to check out any more of our stuff, check us out at the facebook.com/TeamXBombSports. Sports. You can also check us out at the YouTube page as well, where we go live at both. We simulcast around 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Central Time on the usual, so be on the lookout for that tomorrow and on Thursday, where me and Drew will be definitely We got to talk some Bears. We got some Bears stuff. We're definitely going to be chowing down on, folks. Drew's not going to be happy. And also, to follow us on our social media as well at XBomb Sports on Twitter and on Instagram. And also, too, ladies and gentlemen, make sure if you have any questions, comments, things like that, hit us up at xvsportsofficial@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys as always. For the podcast stuff, here we go. We got Blow the Whistle going live on Mondays. We didn't do this Monday. We'll be going live on Thursday, 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time on the usual on Mondays, so make sure to check out that. Also, too, on the TV side, Tuesdays. We didn't go today, but we will be going possibly this Thursday, again on the Facebook and on YouTube as well, 2:30 to 3:30 on the usual. Also, too, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go check out our boy Brandon Januska at 94.3 WMKR. If you're doing your thing down in central Illinois and in the southern parts of Illinois as well, you can hear him as Genuine Country. You can also check out his podcast, Baseball Banter with Brandon, on Spotify as well. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say for what the Cubs and White Sox have done and continue to do, as well as also on Spotify. You can check out Monday Motivation with Hannah B on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and Spotify too. You can also check out her stuff on the radio at 102.3 XLC, The Afternoon Drive. She is killing it right now, ladies and gentlemen, on the radio side. She's live on the air right now. Go check her out. Give them some love and likes. And also check her out, too, at 96.7 The Star in the mornings for the After 8 Hour show with Eddie Volkman on the morning as well. Check out the boys at The Parlay at theparlay.com. Tony Lopez and former Chicago Bull and professional boxer Kendall Gill at theparlay.com, talking about everything boxing, fighting. Come on, Jake Paul. Make it happen, buddy. We want to see you fight Kendall Gill. You punk. All right. And, of course, check out our boys at Fake Football Guys as well. We will be going live tomorrow at 2. So check us out, Fake Football Guys on YouTube, for all your fantasy football needs, everything that you're going to be looking for the season. We're going to be doing some rankings of the top players in each position for these upcoming weeks up until the point of what will probably be the draft. So be on the lookout for that, ladies and gents. And I think that's everything we've covered. I think that's everything we've done. So thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all tomorrow for the XBomb Sports Live Show with me and Drew. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, much love and peace out, Boom Crew.